welcome back everyone, welcome back to another edition here of the Enki Epic Series number 7, Best of 9 show match between herO and rogue. Bienvenidos everyone, bienvenidos, welcome one all, happy new year. Of course, this is our second stream of 2026. We were live immediately yesterday with our first broadcast of the year with the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, and now we have returned here with the Enki Epic Series. Bienvenidos, here we go. Welcome back, as this is a monthly tournament. So for those who don't know, Enki, of course, he's a fellow Duckling. He's a Spanish caster. He's the Spanish caster, and he has been running these Enki Epic Series and Enki Pro Series on a monthly basis for almost the entirety of 2025. And we do have the final Epic Series of 2025 coming into 2026. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. So we do have our best of 9 show match series here that we have been running on a monthly basis, and we have two key players stepping into the ring in StarCraft Evolution. For those that are curious, there are two series that Enki runs. There's the Epic Series and the Pro Series. Epic Series is StarCraft Evolution. Pro Series is regular SC2. So as you can see here, it's going to be a show match here in StarCraft Evolution. And I don't really know where to rank these players, to be honest. Both herO and rogue, they are titans in StarCraft 2. herO is arguably the best Protoss player in StarCraft 2 at the moment. Rogue, of course, he has a legacy behind him, and he's definitely up there when it comes to Zerg players and Zerg performances. I would say currently he's behind players like Solar when it comes to Korean Zergs, and he is maybe equivalent to Shin. You can kind of put them back and forth, I would say, in the current meta. So yeah, I mean, still a very strong player. But in StarCraft Evolution, I would say that both herO and rogue are less experienced, right? They have less experience. They don't have as many hours as, say, Solar or Classic, right? Classic, I would say he is the best Protoss in StarCraft Evolution, right? Like Classic, he competes so often in the weeklies. Classic, of course, I believe he won the Chijik event, the Murloc King tournament over in Chijik, over in Korea. So there's a lot of accolades behind players like Classic, like Solar, especially in recent times. I don't know where to place rogue and herO. Like, I don't really like, obviously there's strong players in their own right, especially in SC2. When StarCraft Evolution, there's just a little bit less data on them, so I'm happy and excited to actually get into these games, to get into this series and see how they compare to each other. Now, even though we haven't seen too much herO in StarCraft Evolution, what we have seen from him has been impressive, right? There's been like 3 different instances, like 3 different events where herO has competed, and he has been looking surprisingly good. He was able to adapt and freestyle and kind of like land on his feet whenever he did dabble in StarCraft Evolution. It didn't really enrapture him. It didn't really pull him in and catch his attention to the point where he would play in all the weeklies. That didn't quite occur with herO, unlike some of the other players like Solar, like Classic, like Bjorn. These are good examples of players that do compete on a regular basis in SCEvo. herO didn't really catch his attention as much as the others, but from what we have seen from him, it has been quite impressive. Like, I want to see more, is what I'm saying. Is I want to see more of herO, I want to see more of rogue. There are certain players that I want to see more of in SCEvo because they look impressive. I think another one that comes to my mind is Cure, right? Like Cure, he came second, if I remember correctly. I think he came second in the Chijik event. And Cure, he's another one of these players that doesn't really play too much SCEvo, but from what little we have seen, it's been looking pretty good. Yo, meanwhile, big shout out to Enki, papi. Ah, feliz año nuevo, papi. Feliz año nuevo. Check your Discord. Oh, un momento. Gracias. Okay, we have more show matches. More show matches. But gracias, papi, gracias. Enki. Quack, Slojo in the chat to see get you as well. Sidecons, bienvenidos. But for now, yes, we do have our best of 9, and game 1 is going to be on Celestial Enclave. I believe we're going to be using the new the SC Evolution League map pool here. So we do have a couple of more modern maps, current ladder maps in the map pool. Let's go. So jumping into our ZVP. All right, jumping in. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Celestial Enclave, we have the blue Zerg player, the South Korean Zerg for Team Falcons. It is rogue. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is a herO. Here we go. We have the Brood War Zerg player up against the SC2 Protoss. For those who maybe I should have actually gone into this at the beginning of the broadcast before we jumped into the game itself. But if you haven't watched this mod before, this is StarCraft Evolution versus SC2. It is a mod that does put together the races of Brood War in the SC2 engine. As I very quickly check. The conversation here was he was like, oh my god, what's going on? They're just now noticing the center hats. They're like, oh, I didn't even notice. I thought something weird was going on. But they were both commenting on the center hats on the drones and on the probes. Again, this is something unique to SC Evolution. For those who don't know, in regular SC2, for the anniversary, they do have party hats for the workers, and I think we have had center hats in the past as well. But for the mod, for at least the brief period of holidays, of time that we have here during the holidays, they've decided to actually implement and patch in the center hats. That festive feeling. This is one of those things that we love in the base game, you know. It'd be nice if, like, for the month of December and like early January, we would have Santa hats or something. But regardless, we're getting into this. It is going to be a hatch gas pool opener into a third hatchery. So far, pretty standard opener here out of Rogue, going for something very hatchery heavy. For those that are curious, the reason why you want to do this and why this is standard is because in Brood War you don't have a queen. Sorry, I should say queens are very different units. They're spellcasters, they're late game spellcast units, but that means that there's no injections, so you need extra larvae. So getting extra bases and getting macro hatcheries a lot more common, a lot more often, is more standard with Brood War Zerg. Ooh, as we are skipping link speed and rushing right into Hydras. Okay, so very tech heavy, very greedy here by Rogue to skip link speed, but welcome to Celestial Enclave. Celestial Enclave is a very large map in the map pool, long rush distance by ground, a very defendable natural base. You often do see a more greedy play on this map because we often see longer games on Celestial Enclave. Oh, nice control. Comes in for this round. The Zell does hold its own. The probe zones away the lings, and herO maintains his position. Behind this, going for a Stargate opener. Zell does poke in. Oh god, the pressure here is getting a little bit out of hand. A couple of Hydras are on the way, but the boys have to be pulled, and drones are going to be focused down. Gets one, gets two. Yeah, 2 drone kills. He's going to get up to 3, and potentially up to 4. Oh boy. Yeah, Hydras are now revealed. Now of course, herO is able to confirm that there is no link speed, that Hydras are rushed into. So Ling does attempt to escape. Oh my god. Yeah, barely does not get away. And Rogue does hold, but he lost 3 drones. He lost 3 workers. He did bleed out 4 lings as well, so not a bad trade here by herO. And herO, he also scouted. He also got a full scout, and he is not done. The Oracle is now on the way back at home. Do you have a Spore Colony here at the natural? You have a... oh, no Spore in the main base yet. The bases are vulnerable. We're going straight for the natural mineral line. Guess 2. Gets 2 more drones, makes his way into the main. Oh, he doesn't know. He has to morph it in, Fabi. No, he has to morph in the Spore Colony. He does not. We mentioned earlier that Rogue, he's a little bit less experienced. And again, these creep colonies do nothing. There are multiple steps to get a spore. You have to make the creep colony first and then morph in the Spore Crawler. And we saw that Rogue was a little bit inattentive to that. Maybe didn't realize. Again, he has a little bit less experience and he gets punished for it. Ooh. Meanwhile, herO does overextend, so a nice moment for Rogue. Very necessary. He lost a lot of drones to the first Oracle, but herO does overextend. So we have a bit of a back and forth. Behind this, herO going Stargate into a Twilight Council before third. So very tech heavy. Very aggressive, very tech heavy. Going for the Twilight Council, going for the Forge, getting into +1, staying on a very low base count, and this feels like either early charge or early blink. It's going to be one or the other, but it is very committed. There it is. We have confirmation early charge is on the way, so herO is going to double down. Now, the reason why these early charge timings hit different in SC Evolution is because there are no banelings, right? Going Ling Hydra is very vulnerable here to mass Zealot compositions. Banelings would be the deterrent. The Brood War equivalent would be what? Would be lurkers. I don't see a lair. Hydras are hatch tech, lurkers are lair tech, and a lair has not begun yet. We're focusing on Hydra upgrades, we're focusing on the Evo chamber for +1. The longer this goes on without a lair, the longer this goes on without lurkers, the more concerned I am for Rogue. We need those lunkers. Otherwise, Rogue is just going to topple over. We need the lunkers, baby. There we go. Okay, lair starts. So lair begins here at 5:25. Again, a late lair timing. Now, thankfully, there's no robo. If there was a robo, then that would mean there's a warp prism, and we could see herO just rush across the map. Rogue would be in so much more danger, as the push should be hitting a lot earlier. Here, there is no robo. We have warp-ins back at home instead, so it's going to take a little bit longer here to actually move out across the map. Say that herO, he's pushing. And this is an early push. This is hitting pre+1, but Rogue doesn't really have much to defend. Thankfully, he spots a move out. 5 Hydras are being produced. There was a spotter Ling outside of the natural base. Oh, I have to get rid of that. This is not the KSL. My apologies. It's not the KSL. Here, where are we going? Nice choke point. Does bait that charge. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Rogue. Oh no! Jesus. Yeah, almost catching me out. Nice force fields, getting 3 Hydras, but he's gonna get caught. Yeah, it's a one-way trip. Forced to trade. More Zealots have arrived. The Hydras are going down. Yeah, better engage here for herO. Zealots are being swarmed. Sorry, I meant to say Hydras are being swarmed by the Zealots. Yeah, Zealots are collapsing in. That's going to be what? 10, 11, 12 Hydras. Oh my god, so many Hydras go down. And again, the lair was too late. And no lurkers. As also trade insanely well. And behind this herO, now he establishes his third. Gets a fully operational. Lurker upgrade is now being morphed in, is now on the way. That was 19. I thought it was around 12. 19 Hydras went down. 19 Hydras, more drones, critical damage. And here is in a better position currently. When it comes to splash damage, he does have the option to go into Storm, but no, he's going into Colossus. So Bay is on the way into Colossus production. I would say that this is maybe a little bit too soon for herO. He is pushing. He does have the Prism on the way. He did well for himself, but now the Hydras have amassed. Now Rogue has a standing army. herO, he's overextending. I don't think he should be here. Unless he can force field, true. Okay, never mind, he slices up the army. He locks in 6 Hydras. 6 Hydras go down, very nice. Remember, there's no link speed. No link speed, so Lings, they just waddle in. herO has to pull away at the same time, a warp in into the pocket base. And herO, he will kill the expansion. This is an expensive trade. herO, he will lose his Zealots and the Immortal. So this wasn't worth it. Again, herO, he had a nice fight with the force fields, but herO, he overextends for a second time. We'll lose the army. The drop was dealt with, and herO, he's throwing away quite a lot here. Even going Disruptor first before Colossus. Bold move. Ooh, the Prism! Prism goes down. herO, he's making mistakes. He's making mistakes. Again, killing that hatchery was not worth it. He lost his army, he lost his Prism. Nothing keeping Rogue back. Rogue now is morphing in Lurkers. Like herO, he was in such a good position, but now he is hurting. And Rogue, he's not pushing. Rogue is droning, Rogue is teching. I would say that Rogue right now has the option to be aggressive and to deny the space. Specifically, this expansion could be denied, but Rogue, he's playing it safe. He backs off and he's building up his upgrades. He's taking up in towards the hive, in towards the Queen's Nest. And we'll see what Rogue decides to go for. I mean, Queens have a lot of value, especially with Parasite. Sorry, I meant to say Spawn Broodling. herO does move in. First Nova connects. So the second gets a lurker. Prism peels off here in towards the pocket base. Hydras, they do react. This reaction, Smash responsible. The warp in is going to finish at the same time. herO, he tries to push forward. Up. Ooh, it's a lot of links getting caught. Prism gets sniped. This warp in does get a couple of drones at least, but for the most part, Rogue was in position. And this main army from herO just doesn't really have enough firepower here to brute force its way in. Again, herO's army is just too small. I don't think he should be here, to be honest. Yeah, here comes the surround. Again, herO should not be here. He overextends. Army collapses in. And herO should lose everything. He should lose everything here. And again, critical losses for herO. Even if he tries to recall, he's going to try to save the disruptors at least. Okay. Does save the disruptors. Results into the natural. This is buying time. This is buying time. Catching out Hydras. Here he needs Warpins back at home. He needs Colossus, I would say. Like, sure, he has a lot of disruptors, but without any consistent splash damage, I am concerned for this army. It's looking very fragile. It's a very fragile composition. And it doesn't need to be. Like take away 2 disruptors and add 2 Colossus. Like, obviously, Hydras are not light units. Like, Hydras are not as vulnerable to Colossi as an SE2. But having that kind of secure damage, I mean, has a lot of value. Instead of being overly reliant on these Novas. Wings that have the expansion. Here moving out, Prism on the right hand side. Disruptors, they get caught. Losing 1. One disruptor. Prism once again into the Walker base for the 3rd time. Rogue reacts with his Lings. Lings are keeping up. Oh, here he has control of the high ground. Not bad. Here he does that position Rogue. Oh! Zel's overextend. At the same time, Ling run by doesn't achieve damage. She did focus down the Nexus. Oh, that was not worth it. The Lings! Yeah, Lings aiming for the surround. Hero's not paying attention. Yeah, he's not noticing. And how many disruptors go down? 1, 2, 3, 4 disruptor kills. Massive Bigos getting 5, 5, 6. Every disruptor goes down. herO will lose the entire main army. And now is the time for Rogue to counterattack. This is the 3rd time that herO has overextended this game. So big overextension, big loss for herO. He went in, he killed the base. He should have gotten out of there, but he stuck around. He stuck around too long. Now Rogue is maxed. Rogue, he's maxed out. He's pushing. herO, once again, his hope here is to try to drag the army back home, but it takes so long to replace all those robo units, the disruptors. Like, it takes so much time to the point where herO isn't even trying. He's not even trying to replace them. herO, he has no Storm, so he has Immortal Archon. Dune drop in towards the pocket base. Hydras on the right, Lings in the center. And hero's being pulled apart. This one is being pulled apart. Lurkers do burrow. herO trying to react, but again, the supply just is not there. Down goes the pocket base. And down goes the pocket. Main base is being depowered, and meanwhile the center expansion also gets denied. herO tries to trade, and he does trade well. But again, just doesn't really have much to work with. He gets 1 lurker. GG. GG gets called, and Rogue will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO did have, I would say, control of most of the game, but he was being very wasteful. We spoke about it, but there were 3 big moments where herO didn't, where herO misjudged. I think that's the best way of putting it. Where herO kind of misjudged how much he had and how much he could achieve, and he overextended. There were 3 big moments where he had big overextensions, where he lost far too much army, whether it was Disruptors, Zealots, the War Prism, everything really. And with that, we saw that Rogue was able to survive, was able to weather the storm, and in the end just overwhelm, outtrade, and just be more efficient here than herO. Again, herO was being very wasteful throughout the game. Once again, it did feel like he was just misjudging kind of the defensive position, misjudging kind of like the game state, I would say, and I feel like we might see a decent amount of this. I would hope that over the course of the series, our players kind of adapt to the meta and kind of adapt to themselves. Once again, it was a bit of a messier game, but that's also because they're a little bit less experienced in StarCraft Evolution. But let's go. Let us go. Going to be loading into a Holy World here for game number 2, and we'll see if Rogue can keep up that momentum. We'll see if herO can bounce back. Let's go. I think what I'm most excited for here is how quickly both herO and Rogue kind of adapt to StarCraft Evolution and adapt to each other throughout the course of the best of 9. It's the best of 9, remember, it's going to be a long one. I see in the chat, hi curious, what is this overlay? Uncommon building skins. These are not necessarily just building skins, different races. Once again, just for those that are maybe now tuning in for the first time, this is not regular SE2, this is StarCraft Evolution. This is a mod that does pit together SE2 versus Brood War. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Holy World, we have the Brood War Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the StarCraft 2 Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. If this is Brood War, why doesn't herO have Dragoons? Because he doesn't have a gateway yet. But he will get Dragoons. So the answer is he will have Dragoons. If you're curious about last game, is because last game herO was playing SE2 Protoss and Rogue was playing Brood War Zerg. If you didn't, I do apologize if I didn't make it clear. That's why I was saying last game that Rogue, he was getting into Hatch Tech Hydras. Remember, it was a Hydra opener on Hatch Tech, and he was working towards Lurkers a little bit later on. It was later Lurker timing from Rogue, and we saw that herO was able to take advantage of that. Ooh, as herO is blindly proxying top right. Now, a couple of things here. Remember, 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top left, top right, bottom right, and bottom left. herO blindly is going to be going for a proxy here in the top right hand corner. Now herO, he knows that Rogue is either top left or bottom left, so herO is gambling a little bit here with the proxy location, and we'll see what he can pull off. The Cyber Core is almost done. So herO, he makes his Zealot first. herO, he is rallied to scout. Oh, I have to get rid of the logos mod. My apologies. We'll get around to it. Do see Rogue going Hatch Gas Pool. Standard open out of Rogue, and herO's going Proxy Robo. Now, a Proxy Robo, what does this mean in Brood War? This should be for Reaver drops. This should be for a Bay into Reaver production, I would imagine. Meanwhile, Dragoon production has begun. Someone earlier was asking about Dragoons, and yes, herO is, of course, going for a 1-base all-in, and herO does scout the Overlord. It does scout Rogue's spawn location. So here he does scout Rogue. Again, the Proxy is in a bit of an awkward position, because he was gambling as to where Rogue was. Oh, Rogue gets, herO gets surrounded. Here he has to be careful. There's the base, so again, Reaver drops. As we mentioned, going for a Proxy Robo. This is one of the things that's a little bit unfortunate when it comes to StarCraft Evolution, but I would say that the overall builds are a little bit more limited. I think an example of that is this. If we have a Robo, in SE2 you have options of Immortals, of taking up into Colossus, of Disruptors. For Brood War, it's Reavers. Like, that's it. Like Reavers are going to be on the way. Nice snipe on the Overlord. But again, the Reaver drop is coming. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the Reaver is kind of a mix between the Immortal and the Disruptor. Reavers, what I mean by that is that they do a lot of burst damage. They fire Scarab shots. Bearing in mind, you can micro against Scarab shots. The Scarab shots are actually physical entities that fire out of the Reaver. Because of that, the pathing does affect Scarab shots, and you can actually pull back and actually try to bait out Scarab shots as well. Can block them off, but they also lock on, unlike Disruptors. You manually target the Nova. For Scarab shots, they automatically kind of chase the unit they lock onto. There is a visual indicator as to which unit gets targeted by the Scarab, so that does help when it comes to trying to micro against it. As Rogue does find herO, Rogue confirms no expansion. And here comes the Reaver drop. And we have more Reavers on the way. Meanwhile, we have the upgrade. This is shuttle speed. So shuttle speed to make the shuttle faster. Remember, the shuttle, unlike the War Prism, has a shorter pickup range. So micro is more difficult with the shuttle, as it has to be closer to the unit to pick it up. So here we go. Reaver drop is coming in. First stroke goes up, shuts down the Lings. Oh! Yeah, Lings do get shut down. Does focus on the Queen as well. So far, so good. Oh, we have 2 base Muta. Oh, God. 2 base Muta out of Rogue. And you can see we're running out of Scarab shots. Kind of like a carrier. It's like a carrier. The Reaver has to build the Scarabs similar to a carrier. Queen gets started down. And Rogue has to buy time for the Mutas. Again, 2 base Muta here. Nothing here shoots up. Remember that. Nothing shoots up. Mutas would hard counter this. He has to buy time for those Mutas. As the Reavers are welling in, they focus on the Queen. They get one. They get... Ooh. Not quite the other. But they do shut down all the Lings. Yo, proxy shield battery. We're setting up batteries. Let's go. But the Mutas are on the way. It's too late. It's too little too late. The Muta production has begun. Mutas are on the way. And again, nothing shoots up. Oh my god. Can we deny? Denies 2. Denies 2 Mutas, but the Mutas, they pop out. There's 1 Dragoon. Yeah, 1 Dragoon. Reavers, they get shut down here. Again, Rogue going to 2 base lair. 2 base Muta. Oh, still getting into the main. Reavers, a little bit desperation here, going into the main base, getting as much damage as possible. Drones, some of them are stacking. Up, up. Oh my god. Clutch splits towards the end, but that's still going to be 14 dead workers. Yeah, 14, 15 drones go down. And back at home, we do see the herO's going for the Stargate. He's trying to get into Stargate, trying to get into Corsair. Now, if Rogue can depower the Stargate, I mean, he can just win the game. Shield batteries are buying time. More Reavers are rallying into the bases. That 1 shield battery putting in a lot of work. He's doing what he can. The Corsair's halfway done. Now, unfortunately, the Corsair isn't as much of a hard counter to the Phoenix as the Muta is. What I mean by that specifically is the movement speed. Corsairs, they do splash damage, which is nice. They have splash damage, but their mobility is not quite on the level of the Phoenix. The Reaver's gonna go down. Stargate gets power. GG gets called, and Rogue, he will take game number 2. Taking a 2-0 lead. Oh, I do apologize for not updating the in-game score, but it was an intense game. GG, well played. Again, as I do clean up the logos mod, but we did see almost a hard counter out of Rogue. Rogue, he was himself blindly going 2 base Muta, 2 base lair specifically into 2 base Muta. It is something that we should have pointed out earlier, but we were so fixated on herO's build. herO was blindly going for the proxy Reaver, but again, Rogue's Muta play is a hard counter essentially. And as we were mentioning earlier, the Phoenix, one Phoenix, technically you can micro it and it will eventually kill all the Mutas. Corsair, there's a little bit less micro potential there, for good reason. Just because they do splash damage, you need a smaller number of Corsairs to deal with the flock of Mutas, but that early on, they can be shut down. And GG, well played. With that, Rogue takes a 2-0 lead in the series, and we'll see if he can keep this going as they load into game number 3. Going to be loading into Keris Passage. Let's go. Yo, meanwhile, big shout out to Yoko in the chat, Yoko3601. Thank you, happy, thank you. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. As we're getting into our next game, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Keris Passage, we have the red Protoss player. We have the SC2 Protoss down in the series. We'll see if we can start the comeback in this best of 9. For Team T1, it is herO. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Brood War Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Here we go. Here we go, as we are going to be settling in. Welcome on to Karis Passage. Karis Passage, I believe, is an older map in the map pool. I don't know if this was ported, if this is a Brood War port or just an older SC2 map. It feels like an older SC2 map, just because of all the towers and the Zelnaga towers as well and the rocks. But you can let us know if there's a little bit of history with Karis Passage. This is the first time I'm casting on it, so very quickly we have an exposed natural. We have a very wide open entrance into the natural base. There's no high ground elevation here, so this is a very vulnerable natural, so all-ins are going to be hitting a little bit harder. Meanwhile, when it comes to the third base option here, we have a wide entrance and we have a low ground third towards the triangular location. The linear third base is more secure. And you can see here, I mean, it can be opened up over time, but it is there is a more narrow choke point. There's high ground right here as well to engage when it comes to the encroaching army. So I would say the linear third base is more secure than the triangular third. We have a forward base you can take as well. We have the Zelnaga towers in the center. We have the, oh, I assume this is going to be a gold. Never mind, regular base bottom left and regular base top right as well. Oh, there it is. In my mind, it would make sense if the corner bases were golds, but no, it is the bases next to them are gold instead. But there are gold bases. Okay. Interesting. Meanwhile, we do have herO going for his own hatch gas pool into a macro hatchery. Once again, just to reiterate, macro hatcheries like this are a lot more common in Brood War because you do not have injections, you don't have the early game queen, and just like game 1, Rogue is skipping link speed. So Rogue, he's skipping link speed and rushing into Hydras. Now, this will help when it comes to Stargate openers. Remember, the anti-air, because there's no early game queen, the anti-air is very limited. You do have to rely on spores, but you don't have any mobile anti-air. So going into early Hydras like this does make more sense against Protoss in ZVP, just because you need some kind of anti-air against that Stargate opener. But that is not a Stargate. Oh, herO is mixing it up here. No Stargate opener, going Twilight Council instead. With this, we're imagining it's going to be early Glaives. The other option here is early Dark Shrine. If you look at the gases, he pulled out 2 and 2. Only 4 workers are mining gas, so this screams like Glaive Adepts, not necessarily Dark Templar. DTs require more gas, typically. Oh, it's the other option. Not Glaives. Charge is on the way. herO is still mining gas though. So if herO pulled out completely, it would be a charge all in. Because he's still mining gas, he might go for a Robo, for a Warp Prism, might go into further tech. Meanwhile, the first Stalker does get across the map, gets 2 drone kills. Ooh, it does get sniped. But I'm curious as to what this gas is for, right? Is it for a Robo and a Warp Prism? Is it for Twilight Council, sorry, into Temple Archives, into Archons? If this was a straight up 2 base all in, then this gas mining would be a waste. Unless it's a fake out. If herO goes further into scout and he sees gas mining, then the last thing in his mind is going to be a charge all in. Meanwhile, Adept does get across the map. 8 drones do go down. Nice damage. Now we have 2 Adepts. 2 Adepts, they can one-shot workers. Hello. It does move command too far forward. And this time Rogue is in position. He's in position. Nice auto stepping. Does shut down both Adepts. Both Adepts get shut down. Now we have the answer. I was curious what the gas was for. It is for the Robo, I would imagine for the Warp Prism, and we have the Forge for +1. Now, ooh, cancels the Robo. I was gonna say that the Forge feels late. If the plan was to get +1, like, this feels very delayed. He's expanding. So late third base, late expansion, late +1. This build feels a little bit wonky. Like, it feels a little bit messy here. I guess what I'm getting at, we rush into early charge. What for? Like, what's the... We have 4 gateways. If we wanted to go for an all-in, then why are we expanding, right? Like, there's a lot of money being spent in different directions. I mean, the Adepts are getting damaged, though. True. How many drone kills? 9. 9 drone kills so far. Forcing out spores. Here comes herO's move outs. But again, it's very kind of weirdly timed. And Rogue is being given time to secure a third base, get saturated. Link speed is finally finishing. He's getting into his own Hydra upgrades. Here comes the move out. He gets spotted. Move out is spotted. And Rogue, can he muster up a large enough army? As Hydras are amassing. Very nice City. Okay, he creates a choke point. Very nice. Oh my god. Yeah, bro, keep body blocks. Keep body blocks. So many Zealots just not actually being able to engage. Yeah, very clutch defense here from Rogue. Very last second to just create that funnel. The one hex funnel. Crazy. So Rogue, he just shuts us down. He shuts us down. He can chase us down as well. Again, this build felt just really off from herO. It felt weaker than an all-in and weaker than a standard economic opener. But he's setting up for a counterattack. Heals off some Zealots on the left-hand side. As the Hydra's out of position, herO, he does try to slip by, but never mind. Roki's ready for this. Roki has Hydra's in position. Shuts down the Zealots. Lair is now on the way. And with the Lair finishing, that means now we have access to Lurkers. Lurker tech is now on the horizon. And now there's going to be a window in time where Rogue has Lurkers before herO has splash damage. The Robo is on the way. This should be for the Bay. This should be for Colossus. Oh, my apologies. I assumed this was for Lurkers. But no, we're rushing into Mutas. Okay. There, Rogue. Spire's on the way for Mutas. Now, the scary thing here is if because of the Spire tech, herO shouldn't make Colossus. If he makes Colossi, bam, Scourge. Like, the problem here with ZVP, if Muta tech is available, if Spire tech is available, is that Colossus are useless because a handful of Scourge would completely shut them down. So that does affect kind of the ZVP dynamic. It's the power of Scourge. For those who don't know what Scourge is, the Scourge is kind of like a Baneling of the sky, which is crazy. But it's also very impactful in ZVZ and Muta versus Muta because it's Muta Scourge versus Muta Scourge. At least in Brood War. As the goal base is going to be denied. Fun fact, in StarCraft Evolution, because of the power of the Scourge, SE2 Zerg is disincentivized from actually going Spire and going Mutas, because Scourge just shut them down so hard, so it's less viable for the SE2 Zerg player to get into that. But here we go, we have our 11 Mutas on the way. So Ramai gets caught. And what is the anti-air? Yeah, you tell me, what shoots up? We got one Stalker in the main. We got one Sentry. Yeah. Like that. That is the anti-air. And here we go, the Mutas are amassing. The main army's pushing out. Again, we got one Sentry, we got one Stalker. Let's go, baby, let's go. The Mutas are slowly massing here back at home. They're about to be revealed. And now they are. The Mutas are now revealed. No Lurker tech, so the Zealots actually trade well against the Hydras. Hydras have to rush all the way back to the choke point. Ooh, but they do choke themselves up. These Zealots are getting a lot done. They're breaking through. And these Zealots will eventually all die, but how much damage will they deal before that happens? Back at home, we have Stalkers warping in. The entire mineral line goes down. These Mutas, we gotta get a lot of work done. They're gonna kill the Zealots. They eventually will, but still it's 18 drone kills. 21, 22, 23. Yeah, more Zealots in the main. So very fortunate that the Mutas reveal themselves as herO was attacking. If herO was stuck at home defending, then this push from herO would have taken so long to get across the map, and so much of it would have died as the Mutas were chipping away. But thankfully, herO was attacking as Rogue was getting into Muta tech. So here he does critical damage, 30 drones go down, and now herO has enough time to warp in all these Stalkers. Blink is done. Blink is done, and now we have all these Stalkers to work with. Now we have all this anti-air, and herO, he is here to put a point on the board. He's here to fight back. He's had a rocky start to the series. But again, going into meters like this, there was a period of vulnerability. Oh, he's going for the Stalkers. Yeah, he's going straight for the Stalkers, straight for the anti-air. Stalkers, they do blink away. They buy some time. herO is also pushing forward. As these Stalkers are going to be completely cleaned up. Prism into the main. Zelda breaking through. Gold base goes down. And do we finish the warp in? Does he siege up? Ah, never mind. As again, Zelda just wreaking havoc. Getting into another mineral line. We see herO is across the map. But does he have enough mutas? Ah, he does not. Yeah, not enough mutas, losing two. Two mutas go down. Oof. He's being chased. Just not enough mutas. Oh, God. 5 mutas falling. Meanwhile, Zel's still wreaking havoc. Everything is still on fire. And here he has done it. It's been a messy game. It's been a very messy game. But again, herO was too late with his muta tech. It's too late, Pack. So from here, his economy has been left more or less untouched. He's on 4 bases, 60 probes. Stalkers rush forward. How many mutas do we have? 24. Okay. Like, once again, herO can win this fight. We can chase this down. But these are expensive trades here for Rogue. And once again, Zelda get past. Zelda do slip into the natural, they slip into the third. The Zelda have been the MVP for herO, just doing so much economic damage every time the mutas move out. Every time, back. As mutas are racing back home. Rogue down to 23 drones. The warping is going to finish. Not enough anti-air. Which means more dead drones. So you're just making sure the gold base was never taken. Wait, how many gold bases are there? I just assumed it was 2 golds. Bappy, there's 4. There's 4 gold bases on this map. It just clicked. It just reached. That's insane. That's crazy, Bappy. That's crazy. I mean, that benefits a player going into mass charge though, by the way, just because they have an excess, especially once his 4th base gets up. Here he has an abundance of minerals. Thanks to the gold. Yo, we heard you like gold bases. Yo, we thought missing you today was bad. Jesus. As once again, Rogue should be able to clean up all these Stalkers, but the trades are something you can't quite afford. Yeah, at a certain point I would say that the mutas shouldn't chase. So we've got quite a lot. 6 mutas going down. Yeah, Lings on their own can deal with the Stalkers. Yeah, we don't want to waste the mutas. Stalkers intercept, they do pick up another muta. Another muta goes down. Oof. Some expensive losses here as Rogue does chase herO down. Again, the pure Stalker is being abused by the Lings, and we do get into a middle line. Okay. Rogue has potential. Has potential. Lings, they get into the main base, they kill the cannon. Cannon does buy some time. As the mutas, they rotate to the gold. Ooh, forcing the recall. Mia's have to get the hell out of there. Oof. Using another. But this is impressive. This is not insignificant damage. Seeing as they go back in, here he's had enough. You can see here the frustrations of herO. He's like, I'm done. I'm done trying to keep up with the Ling Muta. Get me out of here. He just A moves everything across the map. Going for the kill. He should clean up all these Hydras, break into the bases. GG gets called, and herO does put a point on the board. GG. But again, you could see herO just run out of patience there with Rogue. A moves across the map. Meanwhile, as we're getting into this, I do apologize. Did occur a short time ago, but I was engrossed in the game itself. But a big shout out to Juggernaut Jason slash shout out. Juggernaut Jason, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream, had a great ladder session. Hope you're still around to hear this. I do apologize, I was just engrossed in the game itself, so my apologies. But a big shout out to Juggernaut Jason. Thank you, thank you. Oh, Esther Jason. Just catching up. I know. Meanwhile, big shout out to Holy Lime as well. Holy Lime for subscribing for 35 months in a row. Thank you, thank you. But GG well played. Here he does fight back, does put a point on the board. Again, I will say, winding it back when it came to the game itself, we did see that Rogue, he did have a lot of potential going into those mutas. We saw how little anti-air herO had. As I was mentioning during the game, if herO was more passive, if herO was more tentative and actually had his army back at home defensively, then these mutas would have dealt so much more damage and more. I mean, just Rogue would have been in a much better position to be able to reinforce those mutas as well to defend. But as mutas were being built, herO was pushing, right? herO was pushing. So very similar to any game going mutas, there was a period of time where Rogue was vulnerable because he was investing so much into mutas and not making lurkers. Remember, he chose to tech into mutas instead of lurker tech. So as a result, he wasn't quite able to actually flourish, wasn't quite able to make use of his mutas completely, as he was stuck at home defending and struggling to defend as well. GG well played. With that, we're now getting to our next game. Remember, this is a best of 9 series here, best of 9 show match between herO and Rogue, and the next game is going to be on Mothership. Let's go. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Mothership, we have the StarCraft. We have the StarCraft 1, the Brood War Zerg. We have the Brood War Zerg player once again representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the SCEvo Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And very interesting that Rogue would actually choose to stick with Brood War Zerg. For those that are curious, it's loser's pick. So Rogue just lost the last game and he chose to commit into Brood War Zerg, not to switch back into SCEvo. Also, I should clarify, because there are some people that are posing certain questions, this mod is specifically balanced for Brood War versus SCEvo. That is why you should never see Brood War versus Brood War in this mod. It's not balanced for it, not balanced. The balanced team specifically does work on making sure the Brutal races are balanced against the SCEvo races instead. Again, this mod is actively patched on a regular basis. They do add new maps, and they do. There's a very passionate team working on this mod, I should say. Which is why you have players like this that are competing in it, right? They have their own circuit, they have their own league. I would say that this mod has hit home with a lot more Koreans than Europeans or really players outside of Korea. I would say the majority of the pro player base for SCEvo is Korean players. Players like Shin, players like Classic, players like Byun, Solar, Creator. There are certain players that didn't really adopt it as much. Like herO and Rogue, for example. I kind of went into this in the beginning, but herO and Rogue, they're not as indoctrinated into SCEvolution as much as like players that I just mentioned, like Classic, Solar, Creator, Byun. They're a lot more well versed. So because of that, you might actually see some inefficiencies, and you might see these two players exploring a little bit more just because they're less engrossed in the meta of SCEvo. which is fine. I do think that these two are pretty equally matched just because of their lack of experience in SCEvo. Not saying they've never played it before, they have, but again, to a lesser extent compared to some of the other pros. If you're curious when it comes to the non-Korean side of things, when it comes to the foreigners competing in SC Evolution, it's mainly from the CIS region. So think of players like Yang Yakov, Wayne, Gigi Machine, Bratok, Minovike. Players from Eastern Europe have Geralt, for example. Like some Polish players, Spirit, true. So mainly from Eastern Europe. Like they've embraced SC Evolution a lot more than like Western Europe. herO's going for Nolan, by the way. Meanwhile, we're getting into it. We did have a 2-gate opener back at home into a 3rd gateway. Shield batteries as well. herO, he's just hyper committed, hyper aggressive, going into massive into lower depths. Rogue this time was forced to go into link speed. And Mass Link, can we keep up with the amount of adepts that we're going to be producing here? Unlike regular SC2, remember there's no defensive queens. No defensive queens. We need static defense, but these are late. Yeah, sunken colonies are going to be necessary here. Lings, they do send away, they have to buy some time. Have to buy time for the colonies. As Lings, they do come in from behind. Oh. Not quite catching the adept, but buying time. As here he gets into the main. Gets into the main base. Boys are being pulled. And so far, decent defense. Rogue doesn't lose much. He's trading well. The colonies are done. Does finish the colonies. Drags the army within range, or at least tries to. And now Rogue, he has a backbone. He has a backbone to his army. Once again, chasing down the Stalker, trying to chase down the Stalker. Unable to lock him down. Nice control there by herO. Controls well. As Rogue, he does finally try to break out. Has to be so careful from losing the Hydras. And Rogue, he's slowly holding, building up more Hydras. Oh, as I would say, here extends here. Yeah, Links go down, that F busts into the main base, the boys are being pulled. And Rogue, he may have just lost too much in the lead up to this. It took a long time to build up these spine crawlers. Also, I should say sunken colonies. It took a long time to decide to make them. And when it comes to early game defense as a brutal Zerg player, you are so heavily reliant on these sunken colonies because of lack of queens. So that's on Rogue. But as I mentioned, it's one of those things where it was kind of a late realization, just again due to lack of experience. As Rogue, he's bled out so many Lings throughout the course of this defense, losing 67 Lings. Should it be 69? 70. 70 Lings going down. Adepts, they do bust into the mineral line. And here he is overwhelming. Behind this, here he's on a proper 2-base economy. He got his natural up and running, getting fully saturated. Kills the hatchery. And here doesn't even have to break the natural. He could just expand. Just get a third. Just get a third, take up. And macro from here. Very good, trying to slip by. Slip by a handful of Zerglings. They peel off into the natural. As they do bust into the main. once again, they shade into the main base, at 9 mining. This might not be the most efficient move from herO bleeding out of depths like this, but it's still worth it. Overall, rogue is down to 14. 14 drones! Barely any economy, barely any saturation. Again, the defense was just too poor, bled out too much early on. So they break into the main. They break once again into the main base, specifically targeting down as many drones as they can, getting another 4, getting another 5 drones. Jesus. 6? Oh my god. 6 more drones go down. Rogue is down to 8 workers. 8 drones left. GG gets called, and herO ties up the series 2-2. GG. Whew. GG, well played. With that, we are tied up. We do recover. We have a tied up series here, 2-2. Remember, this is the best of 9. Best of 9 does mean first to 5. First to 5 will claim the series, and we'll see who can now start to take a lead in this best of 9 matchup. Let's go. See in the chat, sunken colonies are useless against adepts. That is not true. That is not true. What I will say very quickly here, one, the adepts were very late. They're very delayed. Because they were so late, so many lings went down early on, which means there were less lings to chase the adepts coming into the main base. And also, similar to like a Oracle defense, you should not be afraid to get a sunken colony in your main base mineral line as well, to be able to defend your bases. It might even be better to actually set up those sunken colonies in the mineral lines instead of at the entrance to the natural as well. I mean, if you did so though, your hatchery would be more exposed, but that is again a cleaner defense as aside to losing what 40 drones, 40 plus workers that went down. Bear that in mind. So again, you are much more heavily reliant on static defense as the Brood War Zerg player, to the point where, I mean, specifically against a one base all-in like that with mass adepts, then it'd be worth the investment of getting sunken colonies in said mineral lines to actually have like a secure defense, just because of your lack of queens. Or you might not even need to, because if we had them earlier on, then we have a higher link count to punish those shades as well. But regardless, with that, we're now getting into game 5, getting into our first game to determine who will take a lead in the series as we're loading into Kion. Here we go. We do not here we go, as we're getting into our next game this morning. In the bottom hand corner of Kion, we have the Brood War Zerg. We have the Brood War Zerg player. We have the South Korean Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the SCEvo Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. Doesn't make sense. They have the same stats, abilities, movements, and attacks. That is not true. The Brood War units are not the same as the SCEvo units. Units are not the same as SCEvo units. So once again, just to clarify, this mod is not balanced for Brood War versus Brood War. Units are different between Brood War and SCEvo. So just because, yeah, just not built for that. No build for that. But here we go. Welcome to Kion. Kion is an interesting map here. I would say that Kion is almost like a pseudo island map, but before we get into that, cannon rush. A forge is on the way. herO is setting up for a cannon rush, and we'll see how herO can pull this off as the forge is on the way. Rogue does go for the low ground expansion. herO, the probe, does make its way over. Let's go. Are those Santa hats? Yes. Happy holidays. We have Santa hats on the workers. Happy holidays, as here comes a cannon rush. Ooh, but the drone does get in position. The drone does confirm. And we'll see if Rogue can shut this down. There we go, the boys are being pulled. And the first cannon is going to be thrown down. herO does fully wall off. There's a cannon. Rogue, he wasn't fully aware. but actually true, this is within range. He kills the probe. Oh my god, the probe goes down, the sunken is on the way, and with that, rogue, he should be able to defend. Remember, sunken colonies, they morph in very quickly, so even though this was later than the cannon, I mean, the colony's already done. We need this, we need the sunken though. We need to morph it in. There we go. Sunken now morphing in. Was a little bit delayed. Lings are on the way. And how many drones will go down? It's one. Yeah, one drone kill. And with that, rogue should hold. Behind this, hero's on one base. Hero, he's on one base. Very late expansion. Oh, it's gonna be close. What the mass? There we go. But again, late expansion from hero, a really rough start. He is moving out with his adepts. We do have a, oh, I believe full wall off. There might be a bit of a gap here. I mean, we'll see. Yep, there is. So Adept does slip in. And can try to nice some mining. Shades in towards the main. So you can be merry while getting cannon rush. Yes. You can be full of Christmas spirits while getting cannon rush back. Ah. Well, as these steps are getting out of hands. 2, 3 more drones. Yeah, 3 more drones going down. Nice round. Oh my god. Very nice round. Looks down both the depths, and we do end up defending the main base. A shaky defense, but a defense nonetheless. And remember, hero, he was playing from behind, right? Hero, he still does not have a natural. So yes, hero gets 3 drone kills, but rogue is still in a better position. Behind this, hero following up with the Stargates, going for the Oracle harass. Very quickly, rogue, he did scout the Stargate. Rogue is aware. And rogue should be getting in position. The Hydras do help. But we only have 3 Hydras. So do spore colonies. Again, this is very risky. This is a big gamble here from rogue. He's choosing not to get spores, even though he knows an oracle is coming. Okay, the Overlord does spot the oracle. The Hydras, they do rotate. They're trying to keep up with the oracle, and so far they do. So far so good. Hydras, they zone away. Again, really fortunate that hero didn't hug the edge of the map and try to slip into the main. As rogue, he does keep up with the oracle and does zone away. So far, clean defense. Here he goes for the natural. He goes further in, gets 1 drone. Gets 1, gets 2, gets 3. A nice damage. And here he found a way through the defense. And behind this, going for his Twilight Council follow-up, most likely into charge. Like, hero's been playing with charge quite a lot this series. So we're expecting charge once again. After what just happened last game with rogue attempting and failing and being punished going into Muta play, we expect to see rogue go Ling Hydra into Lurker this time. So we're expecting Lurker tech. Now, when I said pseudo island map, we do have another pocket expansion here. Bear that in mind. So we do see that rogue does expand here on the low ground, a more exposed expansion, a little bit more difficult to defend. But there is only 1 attack path, true. We can see hero coming in from behind, looking to open up those rocks potentially. Or just learning the map. Oof. As the proxy gets found. The Oracle does find 2 more drones, 5 in total. 5 dead workers. The Oracles, they bounce back. Again, punishing rogue for not having those spores. And it's getting a little bit out of hand here. As the Oracle does not get away. Whew, okay. Doesn't quite get away. Adepts, they do shade in towards those mineral lines. Getting to the natural. Getting 1 more drone. Getting 2, 5 in total. Oof, getting another. And again, initially it was a risk that hero took not to get those, that rogue took not to get those spores, but he was punished for it. Oh, meanwhile, let's go. Rushing everything across the map. Hero, he has nothing in position to scout. He does not see. Hero, he doesn't know. The biodome is being focused down. herO, he goes in, and herO, he does scout. Okay, he knows. Yeah, herO, he's aware. Base trade. What? A bit of a late reaction, but he's going for the base trade. Meanwhile, the biodome is down to less than half HP. The base trade, Pappy. Let's go. No shot is going to try to come in from behind. Yeah, this one is too late. Yeah, the dome gets broken. Rogue responds. Okay. He reacted for a moment. Bit of an F2. But here we go. We're going for the base trade. Mass Hydra into the main base of herO. Boys, they try to escape, and some of them will. You know what else? They do get into the natural. They bust into the natural base. Probes, they did get out. And herO has money for a Nexus. Oof. Yeah, so this is a bit of a mistake here from from Rogue, allowing the probes to escape. Another base can be built. At the same time, we have a couple of drones trying to escape as well. Can they get out of here? The Hydra trying to give up its life. The drones, they get out of okay. Rogue, he also escapes with a couple of drones. So we can throw down expansions. And in a head-on fight, what do we have to work with here? So we have 21 Zealots and 2 Sentries against 32 Hydras. A little bit will come down to where they engage, right? A little bit will come down to where they engage. The Sim City, the choke point. Oh, as there is a center gold that herO is going for. Okay. herO is going for the golds. Rogue going for a standard expansion. Bearing in mind that herO has half his Zealots attacking buildings and the other half across the map. So herO is going to be fighting with half his army, potentially. So he has to be careful. This would be the best chance for Rogue to engage, is to fight herO with half his army at a time. Stasis goes off, catching 2 Hydras. Another stasis here towards the south side. Remember, all these Zealots are still here on the eggs. They will catch Lings at least. That's cancelled. More Lings in the main. Spawning pool survived. Nice stasis. Stasis goes off. herO, he's consolidating his army. The army's coming together. Yes, herO can just surround these Hydras. So free Hydras for herO. Hashes the Hydras are free. As herO, he does attempt to chase us down. Still plenty of Hydras. Oh, have a counterattack forcing a recall. herO, he defends. herO, he defends. He attacks. So many Hydras falling, and herO, he will overwhelm. There's just no support for these Hydras. Lings, they do what they can. Again, herO has mining. The surround. Yeah, the surround on the Hydras, and with that, herO, he's looking to take a lead in this series. He began down 2-0, by the way. He was down 2-0. Oh, wait, can he kill the building? The final building! Can he do it? The final building, Pappy, let's go! He should not do this, by the way. This shouldn't happen. He's going for it. The Nexus! It's so close to going down. GG gets called as he does not kill the base. And herO, he will claim the win and take a lead in the series. GG. This was it, by the way. This was it. Okay. Here, he just threw down the pylon. There was a pylon here on the top side. So technically, herO, he did have a pylon to save him here on the top side. So this would not have lost herO the game. But again, herO, he for a moment there, he was just letting the Hydras just walk past. Like, it was crazy. It was he was just walking up into the base. Crazy, Pappy, crazy. GG. GG, well played. With that, herO takes the lead in the series, and we'll see if he can extend that lead or if Rogue can bounce back. Remember, best of 9. Best of 9. Whew. Hi. Crazy. But here we go. Here we go. So getting into our next game. Suppose pros try to wrangle the Marines and splitting them against Radiate. Radiate is pretty standard when it comes to ZBT. For those who remember, a Radiate is kind of like Parasitic Bomb, except it does attack ground and air when it comes to biological units. So it's typically seen against like Ling Ultra, for example. It's very useful against Ultras, against like against Spellcasters, so Infestors, Vipers. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. So we're getting into the next game. We're going to be loading into Ruby Rock and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock. We have the South Korean Zerg player down in the series. We'll see if we can bounce back and tie things up. For Team Falcons, it is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss, the South Korean Protoss represent T1. It is herO. StarCraft 2 Protoss. Let's go. Here we go. As we are getting into our next game here, and again, herO has been hyper aggressive as of late. He's been hyper aggressive. Once again, Rogue does choose to stick with a Brood War Zerg, by the way. He does choose to stick with it. Remember, it is loser's pick. That is why Rogue is continuing to play Brood War Zerg, not SC2 Zerg. He knows he can make this work. I mean, again, even last game, right? We ended up in a base trade, in a head-on engagement. You could argue that Rogue would have been in a better position. I mean, Rogue, he was the first to initiate the base trade, but remember, winding it back, I feel like it all came down to herO evacuating. I mean, it came down to both of them, I suppose. But if you remember, herO, he did evacuate his probes. He was able to get away, and in doing so, was able to actually get a ninja base or get his Nexus up and running, which otherwise would not have happened if Rogue was able to catch those probes. Same can be said for herO though, where Rogue also escaped with a couple of drones as well. So both players, they got out, and in the end it did benefit herO that much more. But here we go. Here we go, we're getting into the game. This time no cannon rush, right? No cannon rush. It is going to be a Gate Cyber Expand. Relatively standard opener. Interesting that herO is setting up his SimCity here in the main base, not setting up on the low ground to wall off, so his natural is going to be a little bit more vulnerable. Meanwhile, Rogue is going for a hatch gas pool into macro hatchery, standard opener out of Rogue. So standard opener out of Rogue, herO going for the earlier Cybercore into earlier Adept Harass. I mean, throughout this series, we have seen that herO has had a pretty good time with his Adepts. Like, he has achieved quite a lot of damage when it comes to Adept Harass and Oracle Harass. I will say that it feels like Rogue at times has misjudged his defensive setup, and maybe not respected something like the Oracles enough. I mean, it makes sense. Technically, if Rogue is able to keep up with the movement of the Oracle, he doesn't need Spores, right? With his Hydras, I mean. So technically he can get away without any Spore Crawlers, but he didn't last game. In the end, he did lose quite a lot. Oh, as this time I believe that's a full wall. Yeah, this time he fully walls off. So this is what I was most excited by when it comes to this series. I mentioned at the beginning, and if you weren't here for it, I do apologize, but to reiterate, both herO and Rogue, they are less experience in StarCraft Evolution. There are other Korean players that have a lot of experience and they compete in this mod a lot. Rogue and herO are not those players though. So throughout the course of this series, it feels like they've both kind of been exploring options. They've been a lot more exploratory. They've been less meta in their builds, in their approach. They've been freestyling a lot more, and this feels like a part of that, where Rogue, he has recognized that, hey, these Adepts, they've been an issue. Like, they have been a real issue this series. Let's try to just fully wall instead, and that's going to be my way of dealing with the Adepts early on. Just fully wall off, not allow the Adepts to actually get in. Oh no! Rogue, he let it. That was a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. He let the Eva Chamber finish. He already had a wall off in front of it. Oof. So, rough start here for Rogue. He has to kill his own buildings. Even here, he's... So, really awkward start. And again, a part of this is just due to the setup. Due to Rogue just trying out new things, he has to kill his own Sunken Colony as well. So overall, a better start for herO. Technically, herO didn't kill any workers with his adepts, but he also killed two, right? The worker that morphed into the Evo Chamber, the worker that morphed into the Sunken Colony, and he also forced wasted resources as Rogue had to kill his own buildings as well. So a nice start from herO, a messy defense out of Rogue, as Rogue is rushing into a fast lair this time. Typically, we've seen Rogue go for like 5 minutes or 5:30 lair timings. This time, a much earlier lair. What does that entail? We have seen Su, he does have a build where he goes into really fast lurkers. I mean, his build is for an even faster lair and even faster lurker tech. If you remember, we saw quite a lot on, oh god, what was the map called? Troy, that's it, we saw it on Troy. Su was very fond of 2-base lurker. But we do have our Hydra spines on the way. Stalkers poke in. Once again, herO opening up charge. Takes down the colony. Rogue out of position. See Rogue leapfrogging forward with the colonies. Let's go. It is the one way to spread creep in Brood War Zerg, I guess. True. Spread that creep, man. I say one way, I mean technically hatcheries also spread creep around them as well. Like they're being creative. Meanwhile, yep, there it is. We're rushing into lurkers. I say rushing, this isn't that fast, to be honest. But the goal here is to get into lurker tech. Meanwhile, herO is securing his bases, and herO he also scouts, right? He saw the lair, he saw the researching Hydra den. It's not as overt that this is lurkers. Technically, this could still be a Hydra upgrade. So herO is not fully aware, but he has an idea. So here's rotating, he wants that third. Nice force fields locking down the Hydras. And again, force fields are that much more powerful here in this mod just because there's no Ravagers, right? No Ravagers, Hydras, they start a step forward. Oh my god. Much more aggressive approach here out of Rogue. Yeah, much more aggressive, catching out the sentries. He wants the Immortal as well. Nice catch. Nice pickup. The Immortal goes down, Rogue he does hold. And Rogue is taking up even further. Oh, this is very tech heavy. Queen's Nest and a Spire. Spending a lot of resources on tech. That does mean that Rogue is vulnerable. So we can invest in quite a lot. herO slipping into the main. The Hive has begun. The Hive is already morphing in, which herO does scout. And this should prompt herO to be aggressive, right? herO, he sees the Hive this early on. He's like, hold up, what's going on? Like, again, Queen's Nest, double Evo Chamber, Spire, Hive, so much resources, so much money being spent on tech that herO should be able to push and should be able to punish Rogue. Can he punish? Rogue is trying to get into lurkers. We'll see if he can turtle. As Rogue attempts to turtle up. Now the colony makes a little bit more sense. If the goal is to turtle. But again, investing into all this tech also means less lurkers, a smaller army. Lurkers are set up here on the southern base. And herO expands. Okay. So what I was going to say here is that herO, if he wanted to, he could have thrown down extra gateways. He could have thrown down more gateways and gone for a big 3-base all-in. But herO, he is expanding. herO, he has one observer. But because herO is choosing to expand, yeah, he's going into Skytils. So herO's taking into Skytils, which means Rogue gets away with it. I feel like he shouldn't have, but Rogue, he gets away with this build. He gets away with this game. He will successfully turtle up, or at least he should. And embrace his Hive. Oh! Catching out the disruptors. Nice splits. Very nice splits. Takes down one disruptor. He wants the other. Not enough Hydras though. Yeah, there's not enough here. Like Rogue, he's moving out too soon. Remember, Rogue is trying to turtle up, but he pushes out. And Rogue, he gets caught out in the open. He's gonna lose everything. Every lurker goes down. Rogue, he should not have been out here. And with that Rogue, he doesn't get away with Hive Tech. He doesn't get away with trying to turtle up, and yeah, just a little bit shocked that he moved out like that. Like, based on the setup here, it looked like he was trying to just turtle up and try to rush into Hive Tech, but he moved out, he got caught, and herO, he breaks through. herO breaks through. GG gets called, and herO, he extends the lead in the series 4-2. GG. Whew. GG, well played. An interesting setup there from Rogue. It was a little bit messy. Like, he was, again, investing very, very heavily into his tech, in towards Hive Tech, but at the same time, he was also trying to be aggressive and move out. As a result, he got punished. Remember, his army was small. His army was smaller because he was investing so heavily into the double upgrades, into the Queen's Nest, into the Hive Tech as well. Like, there was all that money being invested elsewhere, which means his army was smaller, his army was weaker, and he moved out for a fight. And of course, he was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. So a little bit unfortunate there from Rogue, especially because herO, he was accepting the game state. Like, he had a Stargate on the way, he had a 4th base on the way. It did look like herO was kind of accepting the game state and getting ready for Sky Toss. So he was more than willing to kind of like embrace that longer later game, but he saw the opportunity, he went for it. GG. GG, well played. With that, herO is now on match point. One more game is all that herO needs to claim the series. Let's go. Let us go. As we are loading into our next game on Radeon. It's catching up in the chat. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Radeon, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons, down heavily in the series. Can he recover? Can he bounce back? This time, finally rocking SC2 Zerg. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss. We have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss, the Brood War Protoss representing T1. It is herO. Here we go. Here we go as we are setting up. herO going Nexus first. So Nexus first out of herO, going for a greedier build, and welcome to Radeon. It is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right as well. herO, he's aware that Rogue is either in top right or bottom right hand side of the map. Rogue is aware that herO is top left or bottom left. Okay. And herO will find Rogue immediately. So very fortunate here from herO. It was 50-50. For those who don't know what I'm saying, or what I'm talking about, specifically in StarCraft Evolution, because they incorporate a lot of 4-player spawn maps, a way to kind of reduce the RNG is that, if you notice, there's a ping on the minimap. You can see here that looking at Rogue's vision, he got pinged 2 base locations. He wasn't pinged top right, so he knows that herO isn't here. Both players, that is the case, where they both have one location confirmed that their opponent has not spawned into. That is a feature specifically for StarCraft Evolution. It is a way to reduce the RNG of 4-player spawn maps, to only showcase 3 possible spawn locations, or I guess technically 2. So just a way to make it easier to scout. It's something that I think would be really valuable if SC2 ever incorporated 4-player small maps again. If we ever got 4-player small maps, like, it would be a good way to kind of like balance that out. So hopefully we see that in the future of SC2. Hopefully. As we did have an earlier pool timing. Okay, pool's out of gas. Lings are moving out across the map. And remember, herO did go for the earlier Nexus. Back at home, he does have initial Zealots trying to wall up. Lings are going to be on the way. For now, force to defend. herO being as annoying as possible. But there's going to be 10 Lings, and we have more Lings on the way. Rogue is Ling flooding. Yeah, Rogue is Ling flooding. Rogue, he commits. He does catch the Zealot. Zealot goes down. Nice hold position micro there out of herO. Being as efficient as possible. But more Lings. More Lings are on the way. No drones out of Rogue. Oh. Does force the hatchery off location, but Rogue doesn't care. It's all for larva. Remember, it's all for larva. It's just an all-in. Here we go. The boys are being pulled. At this point, we just cancel the base for a refund, right? Like, we... But here we go. The boys are being pulled. Rogue is completely all in. And herO, he's trying to wall up. He's trying to wall up, trying to wall off. He has a second Zealot on the way. He's going to have 2 Zealots. 2 Zealots and a shield battery, but he needs another wall behind this. Remember, the drones, they can just walk past. Yeah, they can just mineral walk past, and they will. They get a full surround. Oof. Yeah, there's no wall up behind this. The shield battery putting in a lot of work. The drones, sorry, the probes are also being pulled. Oh, nice movement. Very nice movement by herO. Yeah, herO, he defends. herO, he defends, even cancels the shield battery. Oh my god. Pulls off the surround on the Lings. Zones them away. So again, herO buying a lot of time. Buying so much time here. The Reaver's on the way, and if the Reaver pops out, that's game. Oh, no. That would be game. Rogue, he's racing back home. The Link Flood is failing. Oh no! Yeah, the Link Flood is failing. Can he kill the Robo though? Robo's getting low. He will. Okay, nice pickup. Robo goes down, denies the Reaver. Lings, they flood in. Damage is finally being done. Damage is being done. And this may get out of hand, by the way. As we're still making Lings. Like, Rogue is still all in. Like, he is not stopped. Yeah, he's still all in. He gets us around. herO, again, he was just a little bit too lax. GG gets called. And Rogue, he does put another point on the board. GG. GG, well played. Again, herO, he was a little bit too lax. He did stop throwing down shield batteries. He believed he has defended. I believe he defended as well. But we saw an opening. We saw the Lings. They were able to kill the Robo, get into the natural. GG. GG, well played. It was an impressive defense from herO, but again, maybe a little bit overconfidence, maybe believing that the aggression had subsided when really it was just continuing. It was just ramping up. So GG, well played. With that, Rogue does put a point on the board, and now we're loading into Sylphid for our next game. Let's go. Let us go. As we're getting into game number 7. Game number 7. This morning, in this upside of Sylphid, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the SC2 Protoss. Here we go, as he has chosen his main race, his SC2 race for T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner. Bottom right hand corner here, we have the Brood War Zerg player, the Brood War Zerg himself. For Team Falcons, it is Rogue. We go. Thought I'd start with 4. Remember, Zerg doing 4 pool versus. SC2 was 6. SC2 was 6 pools. That's why it was a 6 pool, because it was the earliest pool you could go for. Going for the 6 pool. But here we go. herO does scout bottom left. Bearing in mind, welcome to Sylphid, 3-player small map. So you can spawn in bottom left, bottom right, or top side of the map. And herO will eventually find Rogue. Likewise, Rogue did gamble correctly with the first Overlord Scout, and he will find the gateway. So they will find each other. This was a hatch gas pool standard opener out of Rogue. Likewise, herO going for a standard opener as well. Yeah, herO confirms the pool timing. He knows he's safe. Knows he is safe. So we are setting up. Pretty sure the build there was 2 cannons on Nexus, fast expansion. If you're referring to what herO should have gone for, I mean, part of it is also because if you remember, herO didn't probe scout last game, right? There was no probe scout, so he didn't realize. Oh no, sorry, my apologies. There was a scout. He did see what was coming his way. you could definitely argue that reactively he could have gotten a Forge. I would still argue though that herO's defense was so good that I think he could have gotten away with the Robo defense going for the Reaver. If you remember, the Reaver barely didn't spawn in, like it barely didn't spawn in, and Rogue barely pulled off that all in as well, where he barely broke through the Robo. herO, I would say that he kind of like pulled away in time, was maybe a little bit too overconfident in his defense. But even though I think I agree that like a Forge response would be a cleaner defense, I think herO still could have pulled it off. But regardless. Oh, this is different. Regardless, herO, we've seen a lot of Twilight Council openers. We've seen so much Twilight Council play and charge play out of herO. This time, for the first time while playing SC2, he does go for a Robo opener instead. Now, with a Robo opener, he can open up with a War Prism to go for a Depth Harass. He can follow this up with something like a Colossus drop or even a Disruptor drop as well. It's very niche, but there was a period in time in SC2 where it was more so meta to open up Colossus drops and Disruptor drops, especially amongst the NA Protosses. I'm thinking of Estrella, thinking of Nina, thinking of Trigger as well. Even some of the Koreans did incorporate it every now and then. But it has fallen out of favor, and it was many years ago at this point where we saw this more frequently. As Link gets in. No shot, Rogue, he gets in, and Rogue, he gets behind the middle line, he confirms, he spots the Robo, he knows. He's aware of the Robo, the Prism is on the way. So Rogue, he's aware of what's coming, he already has Hydras getting in position. And we'll see if Rogue can zone away that Prism. As you can see, the Hydras, they do rotate towards the main. We can see there's no Bay behind this. Interesting. Just the Robo. herO moves out there with the Adepts. Remember, 2 Adepts, 8 one-shot drones. And hero's making his way into the main. His way in, Hydras, they attempt to zone. And so far they do. Trying to keep up. herO, he will get into the natural. Gets 2. 2 drones go down, getting 3 even. Okay, 3 drone kills, but oh my god! Prism barely gets out. 4 drone kills though. So far a nice start for herO. Picks off 4 workers, pulls away. That is going to be a 4:30 lair timing. So Rogue once again going for an earlier lair. Still in 2 bases. As Rogue, he breaks out. You can see Rogue trying to catch that Prism. Coming in from behind. He's hoping to. Oh! Can he beat him in? He can! Yeah, nice pickup. And the Prism will barely. Oh no! Barely gets away even. It barely pulls out. And herO should escape. He should escape from here. Back at home is going into charge, building up his immortal counts. Building up a hefty army. Prism barely gets away. Ay, ay, ay. And here, just waiting for his upgrades, waiting for charge. Charge is still not yet done. And here can do one of 2 things. He can either try to break the natural or just deny the 3rd. Like, the 3rd base is still not up. The base counter is so low for Rogue. And with herO's momentum, he might just be able to deny the base indefinitely. As herO rotates, we have Lurker Tech on the horizon. Rogue, he is trying to keep up. Does have a massive chunk of Hydras, okay. He's built up his Hydras, does zone away. herO pulls out. Oh, very nice force fields. It locks down the Hydras, and herO's just going for the fight. He's going for the engage. He shuts down half the Hydras. Yeah, it does take the fight. And you can see how brutal force fields are against brutal Zerg. Why is that? No Ravagers, right? Typically, you'd have Ravagers to break set force fields, but that is not the case. Not this early on. That was how many Hydras going down? 12. Oof, 12 Hydras falling. As Zealots, they do warp in to distract. May not be pushing towards the third base. And remember, all that herO wants is the third. He wants that third expansion. Oh, but the Hydras are in position. Rogue so far is keeping up. Rogue is keeping up. Zealots, they overwhelm in the main. More Hydras going down. Going for another warp in. Ooh, meanwhile, the Immortals are getting caught out. Who catches who? Gets one Immortal, but alas, herO still maintains his position. Zealots, they get back into the main, still trading well against the Hydras. But is herO overextending? These Immortals are going to start going down. Yeah, overly aggressive. Overly aggressive out of herO. He does throw away his Immortals. Prism got cleaned up in the main base. And herO was overconfident. Here he was overconfident. It was good damage, but once he saw the Hydra count here in the center of the map, he should have stopped pushing towards the third. Clearly, it was not going to work. So again, overly aggressive here by herO. He threw away every Immortal. That was five Immortals being thrown away. herO, we gotta calm down, Bappy. And if you remember, this is how herO lost the first 2 games of this series. Again, if you came in a little bit later, you may not have seen it, but Rogue started up 2-0. How? Because herO was just overextending. He was overextending so much in the first 2 games of the series. And it's happening here as well, where herO just gets too excited. He gets too excited now. Remember, herO wasn't all in. He had the third base up and running earlier than the third base of Rogue. So while herO is distracted, Rogue, he does push towards a mineral line. Oh. herO coming in for the surround. Okay. Catching out the Hydras. Nice catch out of herO. Now it's Rogue's turn. Now it's now it's Rogue's turn to overextend. Oh god. We're getting messy, Pappy. We're getting messy. Yeah, very efficient fight here by herO. Trading out on these Zealots. Lurker gets caught. Zealots, they keep distracting. herO pushing forward. How many Lurkers are out? 4. Only 4 Lurkers, not that many. Warping into the main base. Rogue, he's trying to keep up, but again, these Hydras, they're exposed. They're vulnerable to the Zealots. And here's pushing in. Here's pushing into the natural. Rogue getting pulled apart. As Zealots, they catch reinforcements. More Zealots in towards the third base. Rogue trying to keep up here. Does run away at the third, but Zealots, they get into the main. He gets in. Zealots, they're everywhere. Yeah, Zealots get into all the expansions here. So far, only 10 drone kills, so not too much. But, I mean, this is still enough, right? We're still getting a bit out of hand. The Lurker goes down as well. Takes down the Lurker, and herO backs off. He actually backs off this time. Again, the herO of game 1 and game 2 would have just kept pushing. Would have kept pushing, and again, potentially would have lost his army. But he pulls back, he consolidates his forces. He's got Archons in the mix. The Archons are coming in. herO bringing everything together. And there are 3 Lurkers to defend. Oof. Soon to be 5. We've got 5 Lurkers. Lurkers are out of position. Yeah, we got herO with the F2 with the observers. We got let's go. Sir pushes forward. Nice force field, zones away every single Lurker. The Lurkers, they just can't engage. Yeah, Lurkers are just not a part of the fight. And Rogue is just being swarmed. Being swarmed. They'll say shut down all the Hydras. Meanwhile, the Lurkers now exposed. They're on their own, and every Lurker is going to fall. GG gets called, and herO, he will take the series 5-3, taking down Rogue and claiming this best of 9 show match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Very intense, very back and forth series here. Almost went to the ace match. Almost went all the way to game 9. Casito ended here in game 8 instead. Congratulations to herO. And again, it did feel like our players were kind of learning as the series progressed. As I mentioned before, herO and Rogue, they are not strangers to StarCraft Evolution, but they don't really commit as much time in SCEvo, not as much as some of the other Korean players out there. So Not as much as Classic, as Seoul, or as Shin, for example. They play and compete in SCEvo a lot more. But what I will say is that they do, a lot of the Koreans, they do actually share their thoughts, and they do help each other when it comes to preparing for matches like this. So there is a little bit more communication between the players. They do often help each other when preparing for events like the Chijik Merla King tournament, for example. But regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to herO. And again, a very aggressive, very fun style out of herO, at times being overly aggressive, at times overextending for sure, but again, it does feel like he was a little bit more exploratory throughout the course of the series. Rogue as well. We saw Rogue attempting to go 2-base Muter at times, 2-base Lurker, come into Ling Hydra all-ins, like we did see Rogue experience quite a bit there. Unfortunately, we never got into Hive Tech. We saw that one game on Ruby Rock where Rogue did rush into the Queen's Nest, he did rush into the Hive, but didn't get there. The game ended too soon. I will say that this is one of the downsides of StarCraft Evolution. Even amongst more experienced players, it is rarer to get into the late game. It is rarer to get into that kind of like maxed out Hive Tech scenario. Personally, this is why I did like the island maps in the previous seasons. Even though island maps, they do limit how you can play, it also forced longer games. Typically, we saw a lot more longer games, we saw a lot more later games on island maps, and that is, I would say, a rarer sight in SCEvo than in SC2. So unfortunately, we didn't really get to have like proper late game or even much mid game between herO and Rogue. They were much more aggressive with each other. But GG well played. Regardless, was a fun series. Was fun. The Jones with their letter hats. Yes. for sure. But GG well played. Congratulations to herO. Shout out to Rogue for competing and for making a series out of it, of course. And a shout out to Enki. Enki, Enki, el hermoso, papi, el hermoso. Enki, he does organize these show matches on a monthly basis. Every month we do have another series. So again, on a monthly basis, we do see other players kind of pitted against each other. We often see players like Beyond, players like Creator, herO, of course, Rogue, Su previously before he retired. And it's a lot of fun seeing these players face off in that best of 9 series, in that best of 9 show match. Again, unfortunately, no island maps in this map pool, not like in previous seasons of SC Evolution. Maybe next time. Look, I love me some island maps, or even some pseudo island maps. But regardless, with that, we're going to be wrapping up here for the day. A bit of a shorter broadcast, just a singular best of 9. When it comes to the rest of the week, when it comes to the rest of the broadcast schedule, we should be live tomorrow with the Wardy TV Monday, but also later on tonight, what has returned, the Euthermal 2v2 circuit. For those who remember, for those who are maybe unaware, Euthermal, he did host a 2v2 circuit last year, and it was a lot of fun. It was very successful, especially during the off-season, to see all these players compete and commit into 2v2s and actually help grow and actually form the meta of 2v2 was a lot of fun. It was really surprising to see how many players got involved, but a big reason for it was because of the off-season. For example, right now, we're in the off-season as well, right? The EWC did wrap up for 2025. Now we're in the off-season, and now is the time when players are willing to invest and willing to play 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4s, and even StarCraft Evolution as well. Right now is the time when they're willing to kind of branch out and not focus strictly on regular 1v1 SC2. So this is the time, and tonight is going to be the 2v2 circuit for the Euthermal 2v2 circuit. For those that remember, we don't cast the event live, we run it, we admin. So myself, herO, the CranKy Ducklings, we do run the tournament. Shout out to Euthermal, he's a good friend and did reach out for us to help run and help make sure that everything is as smooth as possible when it comes to the tournament itself. We do not cast it live, but to compensate, Euthermal does provide us with replays, and we do have a replay cast at some point. So most likely, you know, in the next week, in the next couple of weeks, we're going over the January tournaments via replays, bearing in mind that this is a monthly circuit, so we have the January edition, February, etc., leading into a end of season finals. And from my understanding, it's been very successful. There's a match Reno, and I think they've raised like what, 60k? It's crazy just how successful it's been. It's insane. So a lot of support for the 2v2 circuit, and here's to many more seasons to come. Here's to many more to come. But again, that it does mean that we won't be casting tonight, but we are going to be adminning, working behind the scenes. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you so much for the support. When it comes to the rest of our schedule, bam, you can see our schedule here before you. You can see that we just wrapped up with the Sunday morning cast of the Enki Epic series, and again later on tonight is going to be the Thermal 2v2 circuit. Tomorrow we're going to be live with the Wardy TV Monday. It's going to be on Monday. We have the Patch Clash Invitational on Tuesday, and then we have a couple of days off. I did say this previously, I'll say it again. On the 7th of January is when my new pet bunnies, my first pet bunnies, I guess. I got some bunnies a couple of months ago, but they are going to get desexed on the 7th of January, and it is a bit of a stressful time here just because I'm a little bit worried about them, of course. And the recovery process does last around 2 weeks, of recovery. So I have to look after them. So because of that, surrounding the 7th of January, so the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th, and even a bit of the 10th, I will not be casting. So there's going to be no casting here. I'm going to make sure they're okay. I'm going to look after my bunnies. Missy Heat, that's back. Missy Heat, that's. So, yeah, it's going to be an experience. It's gonna and hopefully everything's okay. And hopefully there's no issues. Hopefully there's no issues. So that's going to be on the 7th of January. So 7th of January onwards, there are going to be some days where we will not be casting. Bear that in mind. For the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th of January, those initial 3 days, I did want to take off completely. Technically, we could cast. We could organize something there. But I did want to take them off completely just so I can make sure that I can be there for them just in case anything happens. Just in case we have to take them back to the vet, for example. So just want to be there for them. Just as a heads up. But until the 7th of January, we'll be casting. We'll be casting, Wardy TV Monday, Patch Clash, all that good stuff. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Otherwise, thank you so much. We do appreciate the support. And if you want more of the CranKy Ducklings, !socials. Socials, oh, sorry, wrong command. There we go. Socials in the chat. We are live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. We have a Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, a Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. All things CranKy Ducklings. So you can follow us if you wish. Again, VODs are uploaded on YouTube on a daily basis. Every day, bam, VODs on YouTube. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. Who is live? Who is live at the moment? Who can we raid? I think Dave is running some show matches, question mark. Dave is live. Who else? Cian, true. Cian is casting in Portuguese and Brazilian. Portuguese. We'll give some love to Dave. Give him some love. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support, and we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, papi, ciao. See you next time. Hasta luego.